becoming successful doesn't always feel as good as it looks. Like you're in a constant state of discomfort. You're in a constant state of not being where you want to be because you're constantly pushing yourself to be better. Like objectively speaking, right now I'm in the best shape of my life. My social medias are booming more than they've ever been. My business is growing faster than it's ever been. I'm hiring. I'm being called out to panels. I'm hitting book launches. I'm just networking at a high level, being recognized as one of the premier upcoming entrepreneurs in the space. And not that I feel terrible, but and it comes as a result of constantly making yourself uncomfortable. And so that's why it doesn't always feel as good as it looks, because in order to keep that train going, you have to always be putting yourself, or you find yourself being put in positions that you're uncomfortable being in because it's your first time being in them. It's outside of your comfort zone, of course. But that's what allows the growth at the same time. And so from the outside looking in, you're like, man, look at this. He's constantly hitting freaking 8, 9, 10, 8, 10, 10, 10, 10, 8, 9, 8, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10. You know what I'm saying? Throw a couple of sevens in there. God forbid you hit a seven. Here's the thing: you hit a 10, you feel terrible because how could I set such a low goal that I actually achieved it completely? Like I need to set higher goals for myself because if I can get all of this, then I can definitely get most of an even bigger goal, right? You hit an 8, you're like, man, what happened to that other 2? What could I have done to get that 2? God forbid you hit a 7. It's like, man, this was a massive goal, but I know I could have been better. I know I could have shown up better. I know that I have more in me and I need to find that. I need to dig for that. So, but from the outside, you're like, man, this nigga don't miss. This nigga is constantly hitting sevens, eights, nines, tens, like only throughout the entire process. But from the inside, you're always focused on that lost 3, that lost 2. You're focused on the next goal. Even if you hit it at a 10, you're like, okay, what's next? There's no moment in a generational run where you can sit and digest and question things, or take things in or celebrate milestones or whatever the case, because you're constantly pushing yourself to be better. Maybe that's what it takes, but it doesn't always feel as good as it looks. You live in a constant state of not being enough. Is very strong language. Because I am enough. I am enough. I am gracious. I am kind. I am woman. I am a god. There was an advert. Hopefully someone will get the reference. But I am that I am, yeah, well, what did God say? Go forth and tell them that my name is I am that I am, and that'll be my name for generations to come. And so I respect like any words that I put after I am. I treat that very graciously. I'm always very conscious of that because you know any words that follow I am is either praise to God or blasphemy. Because what God is, you are that I am. But in any case, you constantly are putting yourself in a space where you feel that there's room for growth, you feel that there's room for improvement, and whenever you're getting bigger, there are growing pains. And so if you think about it, you're in a constant state of pain. Pain is a part of life. Whether you have growing pains, being stagnant pains, declining pains. Pain is a constant part of life. Um, so you kind of pick the kind of pain that you want, and this just so happened to be the pain that we chose. You know, instead of the pain of not having, we kind of choose to have of the pain of becoming better, constantly becoming. You know, and I think that's the thing that I was going to touch on is you never really are because you're always becoming. It's like you never really held back by, or boosted by the identity that you have created for yourself. I mean, if you think about it, if the name is the reason why you feel that you are, then understand that name is not going to carry you to the next level. That's the thing about the game, right? In any case, who am I? What is up, you guys? Sage here. 5 minutes into the video, I'm CEO founder of Legacy Africa, amongst a couple of other things. And Yeah, mainly today, what I want to cover is ambition, moving the goalpost, high performance pressure, and why success is always uncomfortable in real time. If we touch on some of the things that I'm just doing today, it's book launch, the panel. I'm going to be networking, onboarding the people that I hired this weekend, meetings, and such. And the point is that high achievers don't stay satisfied for long, and that's why they constantly grow, right? Success can feel emotionally strange because of the things that I touched on, meaning the seven feeling like a failure, the eight feeling incomplete, and the 10 feeling like you could have just aimed higher, you could have done more. Just constantly pushing yourself to be better. From the outside, I think of this analogy where if you can imagine an animal that no matter what environment you threw it in, it would adapt to that environment. Like if you threw that, say a person, say there was a person who's just a mutant, whatever, X-Men stuff. You throw him in the snow, and he just grows hair. He grows hair. He grows some callous hands, whatever, trudging in the snow. Throw him off a building, he just sprouts wings, flies away. You throw whatever situation or environment you put him in, he just adapts, right? Okay. From the outside, it's like, wow, that looks so cool that this guy can just adapt to any environment. But from the inside, you may not realize that when tucked in that snow, it's extremely painful. Number one, to be in that environment to begin with when you're not supposed to be there, or when you don't at present have the tools to be there, and you're not taking into consideration that it may physically hurt to grow that the hair and the callous skin. Like if you ever like imagine, if you can imagine actual hair just piercing through you, and how quickly you have to grow, growing pains, right? How quickly you have to adapt, and how painful that probably is, right? That's what you don't factor in. Is like if you think about literal wings sprouting out of your back and how painful that would be, just bursting through your skin, and then you having to adapt and build the muscle to fly those wings while you're falling. It's a constant state of discomfort, like really in a very real way, and it constantly doesn't feel, like I said, it doesn't feel like the most pleasant thing in the world. It doesn't feel like the most pleasant life to live. It doesn't feel like any of those things. But it's very very necessary for who you become. And so you're constantly outside your comfort zone. You're constantly beyond your current identity. You're constantly beyond your current system, and so discomfort becomes the norm. Like think about that. In order to grow to begin with, you're constantly operating just outside your area of confidence, your area of competence, just outside it. Like that you have the tools to handle whatever's thrown at you because you're in a space that you understand very well, but you know what your capacity is. If your capacity at a 10, at the best you can do, you can get an 8, then you're going to put yourself in that situation because you know that, okay, I can figure out whatever I need to figure out to get that lost 2 and achieve this thing, to its fullest. And I think that's very very important, to constantly put yourself in those situations where it's like, I have the tools, I know what it takes, I have what it takes, I can do it. I just need to expose myself to that environment, and through those learnings, I will become more. That's the natural cycle of those things. Um, but again, it's discomfort, right? But that discomfort becomes the norm within itself. And so success looks peaceful from the outside, but from the inside, it often looks like pressure, uncertainty, and constant stretching. Like for real, I just need us to internalize that for a second. Pressure, constant uncertainty. Like if you think about what that does to the human psyche, like just constantly being uncertain, constantly not knowing if things are going to work out, constantly not knowing if you're going to make ends meet, constantly not that thing, that coupled with pressure of people. It's like we know you're the golden goose, you know we know you have something that resembles Minus's touch. Everything you touch turns into gold. We know you have a certain effect and you show up a certain way, and so you constantly have to pull up at that level, or else we'll like, what are we doing? What have you done? and there's constant stretching beyond your current comfort levels. You know, again, if you think about that as a daily life, because you have to do it every day. You have to show up every day. You have to grow every day. If by the time the big thing has to happen, you're gonna be ready. You're gonna have to constantly be fighting and improving every single day. And so, in closing, maybe that is the price of growth. Maybe the goalpost keeps moving because you keep evolving. And honestly, that's probably a good thing because comfort has never built anything extraordinary anyway. Hopefully, you take something positive away from today's video. Hopefully, you leave inspired, um, or at very least, you leave reevaluating whether you are operating outside of your comfort zone or not. And if you are, who you will become if you consistently do that. If you aren't, if you're happy with who you become at the end of that process. Thank you for watching. Entrepreneurs, Legacy Africa, links in the description down below. We help solopreneurs and small business owners, medium sized businesses scale comfortably by deploying our own teams and systems inside your business so you don't have to worry about making things happen. You can just enjoy the things happening. And if you're not an entrepreneur and you did in fact enjoy the video, please do hit that subscribe button. It means the world to me. In any case, I do thank you for watching. I have been Sage, standing on business. Signing out. Molweni. Molweni. Ngudiba lo uyemyema ungqolomsila. Uhoyifani ngama ngu-Owam. And I'm the CEO, founder of Legacy Africa. Legacy Africa, we help clients deconstrain their business through systems, processes, and sometimes people, depending on the constraint. Also partner in Office Cube and a couple of other things, but today I'm a panelist. And hope to enjoy my time with you guys. Thank you. Okay. I think something that you realize very quickly is that no one cares. like no one knows who you are, no one cares what you do. And so there's a consistent thing of you constantly having to be on the ball, constantly having to develop yourself, constantly having to tap in with people, check in, hey, because people are busy. People have their entire lives. So from the marketing side, you're fighting for real estate in people's minds, spaces, and times versus everyone else. You know, McDonald's out there trying to convince you to buy a burger, and so on and so forth. And so you have to have constant forward momentum, is what I always talk about. Constant forward momentum, meaning in all the different spaces that you want to be known, in all the different jump. Yeah, okay. Oh, I have a fantastic one for this. So when a bird is sitting on a branch and the branch breaks. I've seen many branches break, but I haven't seen many birds fall. Trust your wings. Trust your wings. Okay. Well,